you're gay. And I was like, what does this person mean? At the gate, giving away my CV, the first thing I was asked is that, can you speak Afrikaans? To say that you're quite young to come and
Mm,
tell me what to do.
yeah.
And yet again, you're a black child.
Shifting mindset,
Mm.
it's usually a challenge.
But screw everybody else.
Yeah.
I am going to focus on what I want
Mhm.
and what I can do.
How do you then um, interact with other people
Mm.
without being worried, without being conscious?
You can tell like
You're part of the
yeah,
community,
like
when
yeah,
yeah,
there's the not allowing them to get to my head.
yeah,
Yeah, they
yeah.
can get to my emotions at some point, but don't let the emotion get into my head. I literally turned around and then I went back. I'm like, Excel Pro beer.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching our video. This show is sponsored by DreamStream. DreamStream is a unique platform where creators can monetize their video content. All creators rely on support from people like you. Join us on the DreamStream platform to support your favorite creator and view the episode without any adverts. Follow the link in the description for a how-to guide. DreamStream, a place where you can create yourself.
A warm welcome to another episode of the Real Queer Talk with myself, Tolo, the inimitable one, Mutawung. We are on it, and it is the last episode on this season, which is the second season of the show. It has been such a bumpy one, but bumpy in a good way, because, in fact, not even bumpy, in a roller coaster ride, because there has been such incredible moments and moments that one learned so much as well. So, I am joined today by Thabang Duiker, who is an aspiring entrepreneur passionately committed to reshaping the learning and development landscape. And Thabang is also the 2024 Mr. Gay Nation South Africa semi-finalist. Thabang, thank you for making time to join us.
Thank you for how can I say, for the invite and
Yeah.
welcome me very warmly.
Thank you. And it is such a pleasure to have somebody who's doing such incredible work, uh, but before we get there, I'd like you to take a moment and just, give us an overview who Thabang is, besides the introduction, of course, that I've given,
Yeah.
which is quite summarized. Just an overview of who you are.
Okay. Um, I think I would say I'm a young man. So I'm a young adult. Grew up in the Northwest Province. Matric in 2006. Uh, Went into tertiary to study IT. Ended up in facilitation. So
Okay.
later on in life, started working. I became a call center agent. Moved into QA. Then I think I had an epiphany when I had my first class in Kimberley after
Aha.
getting the job of facilitator, and that
Yeah.
is when it started that I went into the learning and development space. And I think it goes back again to when I was a youngster.
Mhm.
It would have been so nice to have school holidays and I'll be the teacher teaching my peers about things that they know about. So I think that's the kind of person I am. I've always loved educating and just getting people informed as well.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
An ambivert, I think most of the times I get to learn things and then it's so nice to share with people
Yeah,
afterwards.
yeah.
Yeah.
So would you say that's what drives the passion, or there's more into why you're passionate about, empowering people?
I think there is more that I think I know and there's more that I can learn from others as well.
Hmm.
So I think with the passion of having to want to educate people or get people informed,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. It became as an epiphany because when I was
Mhm.
doing it, I was trying to get away from another job and yes, try and get away from all
Oh,
those nitty-gritties. And when it
yeah.
happened that I got into the space of learning and development, when the epiphany happened, I actually shocked myself. I was like, okay, so actually this is what I'm meant to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And how has it been, particularly as a young person,
Mm,
because you train different people,
yeah.
particularly in corporate,
Mm.
right? You train different people. How has it been as a young black person, but who's also queer?
At first, I'd say it would be a bit challenging
Mm-hmm.
because you must remember I come from Klerksdorp. Klerksdorp it's dominantly just like the way I stay in Alberton, a
Mm-hmm.
bit so we a bit multiracial. Because I
Yeah.
also went to multiracial school, but then when you get into a space where dominantly it was an Afrikaans call center,
Mm.
and just to take you back when I started, I remember at the gate giving away my CV, the first thing I was asked is that, can you speak Afrikaans? I literally turned around and then I was like, I went back and I'm like, Excel Pro beer.
Yeah.
Because I needed a job. Then
Yeah.
later on, when I became a quality coach and I had to coach people, my peers that or my colleagues that were senior to me
Mm.
within that space,
Yeah.
call center space, it was quite challenging because some of them would be quite resistant to say that you're quite young to come and tell me what to do.
Yeah.
And yet again, you're a black child and you try to tell me, a 45-year-old woman, white woman, what to do, that. So I think because I like humor, I think I would use that a bit to try and calm the person down and then not try and get them to think about me as just a gay person or a black person, but to think of me as like, listen, we're doing a job. I am here to coach you. You are here to get feedback on how you are doing and let's improve on that. So I'll always try to move them away from making me feel uncomfortable, but
Okay.
focusing on the real issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's incredible because shifting mindset it's usually a challenge, particularly when you have such dynamics, that play,
Yeah.
in that space.
Mm.
Yeah. So one of the things that I have noticed about you is that you're comfortable in your skin, whether one is looking at you on social media or seeing you in person, you're quite comfortable in your own skin. How did you get to that point of your life of being?
Comfortable and in
Yeah.
there. I I think it also, like everybody else, we have the journey where we get to the point and you're like, you know what? Um, sorry for my French, but screw everybody else.
Yeah.
I am going to focus on what I want
Mhm.
and what I can do,
Yeah.
you know? Um, it takes me back to when I was a young person, having been gay. For me, the first time I knew about being gay, I was a grade 3-year old, and this boy, I think he was grade 4, grade 5. He's
Yeah.
the first person who said to me, "You're gay," and I was like, "What does this person mean?" Mind you, in primary school, I was the library head boy,
Oh
so I was like,
no.
"I'm gonna find out what this
Yeah.
is." When I found out what gay is, the first word you see is happy, and then when
Yeah.
you look further, it's homosexual, and you're like, "Oh, okay." So as a homosexual, then you learn later. So I think later in life, when I got out of tertiary and I saw a lot of other people got interact with certain groups of people, and you
Mhm.
find yourself that I'm not different. I
Mm.
might be special in my own way,
Yeah.
but I'm not
Yeah.
different from the other individuals within the community. And then I think that's when I started opening up and saying, listen, I am focusing on me. I'm going to do me. And I mean, I think I'm quite intelligent enough to do things and not be scared of what other people think or say.
Yeah.
Rather blow my
Yeah.
own horn.
No,
Yeah.
no, it makes sense, and I love it, because for other people it's usually a challenge,
Yes.
to get to that point.
Mm,
And I think that's why I'm bringing it up, because it's quite inspirational, to hear that,
mm,
and also to see, because there are many queer people who you'd see that, hey, this
mm,
person is not really feeling themselves, or
mm.
they shy away from who they are, and even how they express themselves,
Yes.
and it becomes then a worry to say, how do you then um, interact with other people
Mm,
without being worried, without being conscious of, and because then it leads to mental health issues,
true.
right? Yeah, but can you also share with us, how your transformation journey went when you participated in the weight loss endeavors, at
Mm.
some point in your life?
Um, so I think when I went, let me use the example of when I moved to Rustenburg. So when I
Yeah.
moved to Rustenburg as the facilitator,
Okay.
I got into a space where I mean, we all know, we call it a gaydar. We all know, we can see when you walk into a room, like that individual
That
there.
one,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's part of he's part of us. He's part of us,
And it
and
doesn't matter straight looking, eh?
yes,
Like you can just
you can
look,
still, you can tell like
you're part of the
yeah,
community, when
like yeah, there's
yeah,
there's the glitch.
yeah.
So it happened that I got to know a certain number of people,
Mm-hmm.
and normally guys, and
Okay.
um I would interact with them the way they would want to interact. And I
Yeah.
was like, okay, fine. So this individual, that's how they are.
Mm.
So later on, as they then got comfortable with me, that's when they started opening up.
Mm.
To a point where the branch manager was like, "You made my entire call center gay." I'm
No,
like, I didn't
it
make
has
anybody.
always
It's
been
always
gay.
been gay. And the receptionist as well, at some point, I'm like, no, 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 listen, I did not make anybody gay.
Yeah.
I think the only thing is that people got comfortable with themselves,
Mm.
around somebody who's comfortable with themselves and their
Yeah.
own sexuality. Then
Mm.
they ended up having to be okay with that. So for me as well, my journey has always been about, I thought in my head that everybody can see that I'm gay, that nobody
Mm.
should supposed to be asking me like, "Are you gay?" Like,
Yeah.
it shouldn't be obvious. So there's a point where with my family, when I thought I was coming out, and it was because of a different mental situation, because I went to a state of depression
Uh-oh.
where I thought I had to come out. But
Mm.
then when your psychologist sits you down and you get to find out what is the root cause of your depression, then you find out that's not my sexuality.
It's
When you tell
something
your family's like, but we know. So that's not the real issue. What is really going on? Yeah. So my journey of transformation, from being a young gentleman that's now, or a young kid that is now a gay person,
else.
yes, I've also had my challenges. I've
Mm.
also had to watch my back. I also had to be careful of what I say, who do I say it to, and where do I say it.
Dreamstream, a place to create yourself. Record video, music, and podcasts in our full-service studio. Record video, music, and podcasts in our full-service studio. Dreamstream, a place to create yourself.
Um, but having to grow up and be comfortable and say, listen, you can't move me, you can't shake me,
Mm.
because I am my own person. I'm also, I exist,
Yeah.
and I will be here as much as you deserve to be here.
Yeah.
I think that that's one thing that will always push me,
Mm.
yeah,
Mm.
forward.
And to get to that point, of course, it's a journey.
It's a journey, even now, yeah.
Yeah. What are some of the things that you look back at that you found yourself that, you'll get triggered
Mm.
when they're either said or done around you because of certain experiences that you went through?
So, um, so there's a gym in Albertine that I'm going to. So it's the main gym, but
Yeah.
then I end up going to the other ones. I remember there's a situation where a group of men that are constantly at the gym, it's either they're in the lockers
Yeah.
and there's a group of them.
Yeah.
They're never alone.
They always,
No
yeah.
offense, it's like there's no results as well. But anyways, it's another story for another day. So
Ke society.
ke society, and the society is not getting what they're there for.
No.
But they have this thing of, every time I'd walk into a space, they would make comments, remarks about, and they will make sure that I hear that they're
Oh,
saying gay stuff
yeah.
and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And as old as I am right now, I've always said that I don't want to be triggered by the word gay.
Mm.
But I think you get to a point where it still hits you.
Mm.
And then what we need to do is just to think about, you know what, ne? These individuals are having a conversation all by themselves, nothing to do with you. If they were confident enough, and if they had the guts to come and talk to you about your gayness and say to you, you gay,
Yeah.
then I would be triggered.
Yeah.
So I think the moment that triggers me, I look into, how can I calm myself down? How do I get myself to a state of not allowing them to get to my head?
Yeah.
Yeah, they can get to my emotion at some point, but don't let the emotion get into my head to a point where I start making up my own situational scenarios. Yeah.
And that is so powerful. Hey?
Hmm.
That's so powerful.
I might end up in a fight and ruin my pretty face.
Exactly. Exactly. And integrity as well.
Yes, true.
Because I believe that, and this is said all the time, that hurt people hurt other people.
Yes.
Because for me, it means for them to find pleasure
Mm.
in hurting you, it means there's a certain hole that they want to close, right? Because if they are okay with themselves and they don't have anything, they'll not have an issue with you.
True.
And also, the other aspect, it could be that they think you haven't accepted yourself. And now they're baking the wrong tree,
The whole
because
tree,
this
yes.
one knows who he is, and is
Yes.
very comfortable with who he is.
Yes, I think sometimes people do it to try and also get you to react.
Yeah,
And then when
yeah,
you don't react, then
yeah.
they get frustrated. And like you said, they keep on doing it just
Mm.
like, okay. And then when you don't do anything, because what I've realized now that I've not said anything or even complained about it to anybody else,
Yeah.
just let it go. Nobody says anything anymore.
Mm.
And they stay away from you. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
that's good. Because
Yeah.
that's why I'm here anyways. I'm here to exercise and do my stuff and leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to challenge you. I
Mm,
need you to check them out.
mm,
They're not just staying away. They
mm,
staying away with respect.
mm. Okay.
You must check.
Mm,
If in some way you're able to check how they will be looking at you, or maybe you find themselves at a machine or they find you there,
mm,
you should see the respect that they're going to give you,
mm.
because you didn't stoop to their level.
Oh,
Right.
I hear you.
And
I get you.
and that's what
I get you.
happens.
Mm,
That's what happens. Because also such people are people that have internalized homophobia,
mm.
where either some or one of them actually could be attracted to you,
But they don't want
but
to.
because they don't want it to be seen by others, then
Mm.
they should take this approach, so others have a jump it, that this thing actually that is
It's
happening here,
hitting them up
that is
inside.
happening here,
Yeah.
you know. So yeah,
It's good.
that's
Sorry, there's a song by her where she has a little speech that she makes, and she talks about she's speaking about men, like a boyfriend, to say
yeah.
that, are you the same person with me when you're with your friends, or
Uh,
because you're with your friends you have to have this different persona or different facade because you're with other people, but what I want you to do is to be the same person with me that you are with your
yeah.
friends. And I think that's exactly what other
Mm,
people do
mm,
when they're alone. They feel like I should have said this or shouldn't have
mm,
said that
mm.
when that person was there, or should have just went to them and said hi.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's humans, you know. Sometimes it's the fear that makes them become that monster that they are.
That's true.
Mm.
That's true. So, Mr. Gay Nation SA,
Yes.
right? I'd like you actually to share with us, you know, what inspired you or motivated you to be part of the pageant.
Okay. When it happened, it was November last year.
Yeah.
So it was just after Pride. So I was tired of having Saturdays where I'm just whatever, either gallivanting in the streets or I don't know what I'm doing, just lying in bed, because I love just to lie in bed on Saturdays. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm tired. We all work hard. So I was like, you know what? I need an extra income
Mm.
or I need to keep myself busy.
Yeah.
Then I thought, let me do some charity work because it'll allow me to give back, especially when it comes to teaching youngsters.
Yeah.
So I thought at first, let me try and do homework, help out in homework.
Okay.
But then because I work Monday to Friday, it's a bit challenging. I live far, so I can't do it in my area.
Mhm.
Tried to look within Randburg, couldn't find anything.
Yeah.
And then on Instagram, some other day, I'm going through Instagram and I see a post that says, Mr. Gay Nation SA 2024 entries. I'm like, you know what? If I'm gonna join or be part of this program or this pageantry,
Yeah.
it's going to force me to do exactly all these things that I wanted to do. Then I applied, and the feedback I got as the welcome letter, it listed everything about what is the pageant all about, their vision and mission.
Yeah.
And one thing I liked is that it's all about saying no to bullying, to stereotyping, to name calling, to making homophobic
Yeah.
activities or behaviors. And I was like, in a way, that's what I also like to do. You know, I remember a few years ago, I think about 2 years ago, or just before COVID, we had a transgender woman come into our space,
Okay.
and starting off within recruitment, the question was, I don't know what to call this person. I can see it's a girl, but the ID says a male. I'm like, it's just transgender.
Yeah.
You know, ask the person what they want to be called, what their pronouns are.
Yeah.
Okay, no, or just call them by their name. That's the most simplest. Then later on, the person now starts working in our company, and they have an issue with having to use the female bathroom. Now I have to be the one explaining again because I was within the HR space.
Yeah.
Listen, this person is transitioning, so they have to go through that journey and they have to use the bathrooms.
Yeah.
Because I didn't understand why they have to use the disability toilet.
I use the disability
I was like,
toilet.
but it's unfair.
It is unfair,
Mm,
but I'll tell you why. You are not men enough to be in the men's toilets.
mm,
You're not a woman
female
enough
enough.
to be in
Mm,
women's toilets. So you find yourself that actually the disability toilets are more safe and comfortable to use because nobody's going to look at you in a certain way.
True.
Nobody's going to make certain comments because you are there,
Yeah.
because also the problem is some men think if you are gay, you want every man that you come across, right? So I don't know what's the problem with women, but generally with men, there are some who have that mindset that every man you see you want
You
to sleep
want.
with, and it's actually not the case,
Yeah.
and others now you have to tell me that you're not my type. I can,
And
and
then
you don't want to
and then you
get to
bruise
such
their
a situation,
ego.
and you bruise their ego. Now you're the mean one. So I end up using them because it's safer too. But you're right, it's not fair.
It's not fair because, and I understand how you feel. It's how you feel, and also want to safeguard yourself at the same time because you want to feel safe. And that's the same discussion I had with our recruitment personnel. I was like, this person is not disabled. Hence, I'm saying I don't understand why they need to use the disability toilet.
Yeah.
They're not disabled at all, because then what if there is somebody who's disabled and had to use that toilet? They're their first priority.
Yeah.
So I think for me, those are things that led me to do that. And I remember in primary school as well, I think I also was being a hypocrite. In primary school, we had a friend, not primary, high school,
Yeah.
had a friend who was, because back then we didn't look at it as transgender, just thinking, no, he's gay.
Yeah,
But I knew I
yeah.
was gay, but I
Yeah.
don't like, he's a different kind of gay.
Yeah.
And then later on, I learned, no, he's actually looking towards transitioning. And being friends with them, I was limited because
Dreamstream, a place to create yourself. Record video, music, and podcasts in our full-service studio. Record video, music, and podcasts in our full-service studio. Dreamstream, a place to create yourself.
remember now my friends are straight, and I'm this gay person that's in the group, that's allowed to be in the group because everybody thinks they're straight. I'm like thinking, guys, wake
Like,
up,
please.
And I ended up losing that friendship or cutting the friendship because they would move me away from that individual every time the individual will come.
Yeah.
But I would try and make contact in any way. So if we met through the corridor, I'll make sure that I greet them.
Yeah.
So I think that is also one thing that also motivated me to join Mr. Gay Nation SA 2024, to say that I also want to be an advocate. I also want to stand up for gay rights, LGBTQ plus rights, and say, listen,
in general.
yes, we belong and we are here.
And you have obviously been part of different initiatives.
Yes.
Since you started. Can you share some of those initiatives and why you pursued them?
So the other one is in Rustenburg with Glow. He's in Legends of Rustenburg.
Okay.
So I remember I did not have a lot of gay friends in Rustenburg at that point. So this individual said, no, listen, we have this activity that is happening at Anova. Let's just go. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. Let's just go. When I get there, it's a meeting. It's LGBTQ people. It's the sex workers. And I had so much fun because we were discussing topics that I like to have a conversation with my friend about. And then we're talking as a group to a point where we ended up having a small little march with the Metro Police, escorting us from at one point up until the stadium, where we ended up having a sports. So those initiatives as well, I think those are ones that also motivated me to say that you have done it before, you can still do it. And the other association that I'm part of, or that I'm assisting as well, is with the Tato One Big Family, is in Tembisa.
Okay.
So they also took me under their wings and like, you know what, let's help out where we can, especially the young LGBTQ plus community, the youngsters, and get them where they need to be.
Incredible. And because you do these initiatives, I understand that others could be that they're personal and and they need to stay as confidential, so you obviously would not take it into the public. But like the one that you just shared now, that happens in Rustenburg, do you feel that such initiatives are spoken about enough, they get enough publicity, for more gay people or LGBTQI plus people to know about and participate?
What I like is now, since I think I left Rustenburg in 2015. Yes, I left in 2015. So what I've noticed is that it has now it has now boomed, and it's becoming bigger than it was before.
Yeah.
And I think us, the individuals that are within the committees and within that association, are the ones that can make it bigger and bring it out to the people.
Mm.
So if we don't publicize it and we don't make it available for everybody else to know about it, it won't be out there. So I think, if it's not out there, most organizations are not out there, it's because we are restricting ourselves.
Yeah.
It's the same thing that we're saying, we're also gay, but then we're scared of doing anything or behaving or being ourselves because we're afraid of what other people are going to say.
Yeah.
We probably have an organization. It's probably having the right concepts and vision, but you are afraid of making people know about it because you're scared of, I might not get funding, I might not get this. Because when I started Mr. Gay Nation as SA as well, I was like, I'll sponsor myself. I won't wait for anybody to sponsor me because I know what I'm doing for. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other organizations that I'm part with or that I'm volunteering with, it's not necessarily for LGBTQ plus.
Yeah.
There's one in Benoni for Kids Haven.
Okay.
So there, what we do is, or what I do is assist the youngsters when it comes to extra classes.
Okay.
But now we're focusing on IT.
Yeah.
But in the same breath, I'm trying to make them job ready for work environments where they can actually get into any environment.
Yeah.
And more especially because of the LGBTQ plus people who are so not yet confident about entering that space, especially like what I mentioned about a transgender individual, so that they're so work ready that when they come there and they sit down with someone and they're interviewed, they feel confident to know that, listen, I'm going to ace this. I'll be able to do whatever you want me to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other ones, there's an MBS radio station with Raymond, and he's more about on the GBV side of things, helping young girls as well. So that's where we also collect pads. I know on the next week we have a hike that we're doing, and we're also going to be doing pads. So we're going to be doing a lot of activities as well in there.
Sure. Amazing stuff. And for me, as I'm listening to you, I'm getting the power of the existence of pageantries, because many a times they're taken as they're about the looks.
Yes.
There's nothing really of value out of it that you get. It's just about them looking great. I
Pretty.
mean, you look great. It makes
Thank
sense
you.
you'll be in that space,
Yeah.
a model kind of a profile, and it's nice to hear that there's so much more to it. Anything that you'd like to make people aware of when it comes to pageantry, that we get to understand how broad it is.
Let's be honest with myself. This is my first pageant ever.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And I think also at some point, maybe when I was younger, I would look at it, and I mean, we all at some point watched Ubasetsana Khaled being crowned Mrs. SA. We've watched the others also being crowned. Mofokeng. When we looked at them, we saw these beautiful women. I mean, yeah.
Millennials
Won't understand these people we're talking about. And then you realize that later in life is that as much as it was about the person having an image, I mean, you can't have a business without a brand and a signage.
True.
Yes. So the brand needs to look attractive, and everybody else must be looking at it and say, oh, okay, that's attractive. But it's so nice when you look at that attraction and behind it you see that, oh, there's brains. It's not a bubble head. And you learn that there is more that people can give out of so you can use your pageantry, you can use your good looks if you think you're going to win by using the looks. But combine it with a lot of, or can I say, we need to combine it with a lot of thought processing about what can you do to give back to the community, give back to others that don't know how to do that for themselves, and also use yourself as a brand that is going to probably, if you have a business like myself, I mean, it's been years that I had an event organizing company, but I've never done a lot of events.
Okay.
But whenever I get a chance to, I always make it a mention that, listen, I am the brand. So if you want something that looks good, if you want something that tastes good, you can see that I stand for the brand. I am the image that you'd want to say, listen, this is where I got it from. And if you want it, it's you can get it because you know that you're gonna get the best out of it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, incredible. And your pageant then, how does it unfold, like the process from you applying, until the final stage of where the winner is being announced?
So our finale is going to be in September,
Yeah.
and we started um, in February. That's when we had our meet and greet. So that's when we just met everybody else. And
Yeah.
then ever since then, we've been having events where now charity events
Okay.
will go into different places. Like last couple of 2 weeks back, we went to Nyakallo.
Mhm.
Nyakallong, it's a mental and physical disability, physically disabled home.
Okay.
Yes, and so being part of that also shows that we're willing to look past that just being just a pageant,
Mhm.
but also, like I say, give back to the community.
Yes.
And then as time goes, we're still going to be looking also as well as the beauty side of it,
Mhm.
because next the 25th I'm having a swimwear suit
Okay.
photo shoot going on.
Yeah.
So that means then I still have to now look at myself as well and say, do I want to be the right image of
Mm.
health? Because I am all about mental health and physical health.
Yeah.
So I'm working very hard on myself as well,
Mhm.
physically and mentally.
Yeah.
Every day as well. I heard the young lady talk about she sleeps at 2. I sleep
Yeah.
at 2 every day.
Wow.
When I get home, I'm baking. I'm baking so that I'm baking biscuits, I'm baking scones, selling them to make extra money so that I still have things that I can also do, like traveling to all these places. And
Oh,
I also
okay.
have that because every month I have to then pay my own sponsorship.
Yeah.
With that sponsorship, again, is about the traveling cost of going to different places, attending different events. And so I think from this month on, there won't be major activities that happen because we would also do have seminars,
Okay.
also speak to our sponsors, mentors, they guide us about the same thing that we spoke about. It's not only about a beauty contest, but it's about what is the vision and mission of the pageant. For example, if you say you want to be an ambassador, you want to be an advocate for the rights of others,
Mm.
are you portraying that yourself? Are you that person? Yeah.
Sure. Incredible. So generally, right, we know Mr. South Africa, Miss South Africa,
Mm,
right? And obviously they dressed as Mr.
mm,
and they walk as
mm,
Miss South
mm,
Africa and that. To give us an understanding of how it works with Mr. Gay Nation SA,
mm.
um then the final
Yes.
stage, what does that event look like?
So I think you're asking me, like, for example, what would happen at the finale?
Hmm.
Okay. So at the finale, what I know right now is that we already have a venue where we're going to have it. So we're going to have the
Okay.
Centurion Theatre,
Yeah.
and we're going to have a walk, like how you normally have a walk.
Okay.
We'll have those questions where you're going to be asked certain types of questions,
Yeah.
and then so from since we started from February, I have a score sheet.
Okay.
So that means then my social all that's I'll always be on my social media to make sure, but
Okay.
not like I've never been,
Yeah.
but more now it's more about the exposure and
Yeah.
about helping out our sponsors as well, being advertised, helping each other as well within the pageant.
Okay.
For example, if for example you were in the pageant and you had an event, I'll help you get it out there
Okay.
on my own social media.
Yeah.
Having to attend these events, it's a score sheet. So we're getting a score sheet, and in the same breath, as much as I'm, like I said, I'm role modeling what Mr. Gay Nation SA would be like, I also have to influence somebody else to become the next contestant in the
Oh,
pageant as well.
okay.
So
Okay.
that individual then would be then announced at the finale for
Yeah.
next year.
Yeah.
And at the same time, that's when the crowning will then happen of the unseen. So Mr. Gay Nation SA works with the Unseen International, where
Okay.
the Unseen International pageant does not only look at only one particular type of individual, but they have a variety of individuals. Like there's a lady that is partially sighted. Yeah,
Okay.
like I think less than 70% of sight. She has 70% of sight. So she's also an entry in that. So their category is not to say that you're a male and we're only accepting males. So anybody can enter,
Participate.
can participate
Yeah.
and become an unseen pageant winner.
Okay.
Yes. So they're
Okay.
also going to be announced as well there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
This
I don't
is
know if I answer your question.
this is very interesting.
Yeah.
It's very interesting, and I love the educational part of it as
Mm.
well, because it shows us that there are different ways we can impact our society in a
Yes.
positive way,
Mm.
and if pageantry is one of those, and the fact that you take time to go through different activities that you do, and
Mm.
making sure that you get into different spaces, it's quite something to boast about, that it's a pageant worth supporting, really.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for people that want to support you, how do they do that?
So all our votes, so we have voting bundles.
Mhm.
So you can either vote, you can also attend the actual finale,
Okay.
and there's a cover charge for the finale, I think around about 300 rand for the general.
Mhm.
VIP, I think right now we're probably at 100% sold out, because we're at 90% sold out on the VIP. And then for votes, the smallest votes is 40 bundles at 120 rand. So
Okay.
that's how the individual then vote for me.
Yeah.
And then from then that's when the votes will then be tallied up together with my other points. But then again, remember, we're going to have a panel of judges that
Yeah.
are going to judge what's going to be happening, all my interactions with throughout the Mr. Gay Nation SA, probably my final speech, or whatever questions they might have for me at the final,
Yeah.
will make the total number of points for me to win Mr. Gay Nation.
Yeah.
So I think for now, with the support that I would like from everybody else, is vote if you
Mhm.
can. Don't pressurize yourself. I mean, 120 rand, not all of us in Seattle's economy have
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
We have until September
Mhm.
to vote.
Yeah.
Yeah, so far I am top three.
Wow.
No, top
Congratulations.
four. Not, let me not lie. Top four. So
Congratulations.
thank you. Top four
Yeah.
of the most voted for. I'm top four with the ones that also have the group of individuals that have the largest number of points of 198 out of 200.
Wow.
Yes.
Great
So I'm
work.
also doing a lot. So you can see
Mm.
that. I think my support as well. It will be the case of, I get a lot of people saying, "Well done on this. Keep
Mm.
it going." That for me has always been the motivation.
Okay.
Yes, as well.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Sure. Congratulations. You're doing
Thank you.
well.
Thank
You're
you.
doing well. Really. And I wish you all the best, with the journey. That even at the finals, that you
Mm,
get to win this, but even beyond this,
mm,
that your passion and your vision keeps driving you,
yeah.
because it's not only this generation that is going to benefit, even
Yes.
other generations that will come after, they're going to benefit from that.
Mm.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Uh, and this is how we get into the final part of this episode. And as we usually do, we look at the myth and the fact. So, also talking about transgender, allowing transgender people to use facilities consistent with their gender identity threatens women and children, and will increase the likelihood of violence and crime in those facilities. So that is the myth that goes around. And the fact is that crime statistics shows that transgender people are disproportionately more likely to be the victims and not the perpetrators of violence in bathrooms, locker rooms, and etc. etc. So let's do debunk that myth. And it is a thank you once again for making time to watch, and I encourage you to keep getting in contact with us, because we need to have conversations about all the important issues that we discuss. And as you're watching on Dream Stream, you can reach me by DMing me on Tolo_Mtaung on all social media platforms. Otherwise, you can find the email address on my profile. Otherwise, if you are watching on YouTube, please do subscribe and leave your comment there, and also invite others to watch. Until next time, stay well and stay blessed.